Well, welcome back, friends. We've been mighty busy here at Grand States Mid-America. The park's still young, but we're laying down the roots for something special. Something families will talk about for years to come. This time around, we've taken things to new heights, quite literally. The Mid-America Skyway gives you a view of the whole park like you've never seen before. On the ground, we brought in a charming antique car ride, some classic family flat rides, and a historical village, preserving pieces of the past for the next generation. It's all about creating moments, memories, and a little bit of magic. So let's take a look at what's new around the park, shall we? Hey everybody, BeyondDrewTV here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Grand States Mid-America. So welcome back to episode 4, I believe we are at now. And yeah, this is going to be a pretty big one as we are trying to kind of get closer to wrapping up this first season, the 1978 season of Grand States Mid-America. So we are starting right now, not at the beginning of the park, actually near kind of the capped off end of the park, at least the 1978 cap off season. And yeah, as you can tell, we have a lot of new stuff right in front of you here, right? So the big first thing I want to look at is going to be the brand new Mid-America Skyway. So this goes from the, like I said, the back of the park, kind of where we're capping things off, and goes all the way to the front of the park, kind of near the new corkscrew. Actually, you can from here see the replicated station all the way down there if you look kind of close enough, with the orange roof all the way at the end there. So yeah, kind of went with the alpine kind of look there for the stations. And yeah, as of now, I'm okay with both stations being similar, but who knows, as the park kind of expands and maybe the Skyway will expand with it, we can change up the station to kind of reflect the area that it's in. But no, I love the kind of kinetic energy that you get above the guests now, as you kind of look up and see these, as for now, pink gondolas. And realistically, these would not be gondolas, but we're kind of working with what we have, right? So I would really like these to be chairlifts that you would see at a ski resort or something similar, or pretty much at like Cedar Point comes to mind right away, their chairlift ride. But again, we're kind of working with what we have, right? But no, again, I love how these look as you're kind of walking down this kind of the main midway of the park here. So as speaking of the main midway, let's go ahead and keep traversing down this way, and we're going to go to the right first and look at the chair swing over here. And yeah, just wanted to keep plopping in some new flat rides, and we had a great comment suggest, hey, let's get a chair swing in here if we haven't already. And let's go ahead and put that right next to the waterway, and you get right next to the or right across from, I should say, the giant helix section of Great One over there. And also, I'll go ahead and point out, because you're going to keep seeing it in the background, I have started work, since this is being recorded after the recent update from Planet Coaster. I have started work on a nighttime spectacular, so I don't think it's going to be ready for the 1978 initial season, but that's all right. But yeah, I would love to get some sort of, like I said, nighttime spectacular fireworks show in here. Especially, I'm kind of holding off for the custom music, especially because I think getting some custom music would be great in here. There's some really nice choices for music in game already for fireworks shows, but again, I kind of have in mind a few of my own personal choices that I like to have. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. But anyways, moving on from the chair swing, let's move on, and we'll stay on the right side of the park and then move on to the big thing on the left-hand side. But right next to the chair swing, we have the beginnings, and I mean very, very beginnings, because I literally started building this right before I started recording, because I just had this random idea. But this is going to be a historical village. So the idea here is that some sort of historical whatever group contacted the park and was like, hey, we have these buildings that are either set to be demolished, or maybe they were going to be moved out of the town or the region to somewhere else, and they're like, hey, would you guys like to go ahead and take this, or take some of these buildings and preserve them historically? Like, they can be used by the park for like stores or educational purposes and stuff like that, but overall kind of the park just needs to keep them preserved how they were when the historical committee kind of gave them over. So I started this off with 2 buildings. Here we have the general store on the right that sells some local goods and raw honey, and I think that'd be kind of cool to have like sort of a Dollywood, or I think it's Silver Dollar City does it as well, where they have local vendors be able to come into the park and kind of sell their goods. So I think that'd be a really cool feature to have for Grand States as well. So maybe has some local raw honey there. And then across the way, we have the Mid-America Post Office. So the big thing I wanted to get across here are these little itty bitty tiny buildings with kind of these custom made windows, and we might get some custom made roofs and stuff to kind of get these smaller buildings portrayed across. But yeah, this is just the start of it. Yeah, no, I want to get a few more structures in here, but that's where I want you folks to come in. What do you think for some more structures? Probably 2 more structures, maybe 3, if we can think of like a really small structure along with 2 larger ones. But anyways, my general ideas are maybe over here is a blacksmith shop with a blacksmith demonstration, and then maybe over here like a school, like an old school. Yeah, just basically an old school with a schoolyard and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd love to hear your ideas as well. Maybe an old gas station, like a really, really old gas station and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know, I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head here. But yeah, what do you folks think about for the historical village here? So, and then the last thing I want to throw out here is I found this amazing thing on the workshop. These are these little like quarter or 50-cent, what does it here say here? It's $1. Well, it's only $5 to get into the park. We're gonna have to change that the pricing there. But yeah, these little boats that you control out here, and I was like, oh heck, we have the river. It's like, yeah, we definitely have to get these in here. So yeah, I found these on the workshop. They come as a set here, and these are going to be from. These are from Bix, and there is the share code there if you'd like to get them. I'll try to remember to go ahead and get that down in the description below as well if you'd like to go ahead and download the coin-operated boat game. And they've set it up really, really well where you can just click this little rectangle here and you can change the whole color of the object and everything. So really, really nice there. And then I also wanted to go ahead and give a shout out. I skipped over them a little bit because I want to keep using them, but anyways, I want to give a shout out to Remnant for making the Iron Bistro table and chairs that we briefly saw when we were looking at the, yeah, here we go, you can see them over here, the Iron Bistro chairs and everything. They're really, really nice and fit in with this area extremely well. So with all those out of the way, again, don't forget to give me your suggestions there for some more buildings and some more ideas for the area here of our little historical town. But yeah, right across the way is going to be my favorite edition of this update, and that is going to be the Antique Auto Ride. So I've been wanting to put this in for so long. I think this ride is just a must-have for basically any little regional amusement park like this, right? So yeah, really wanted to put some time and effort into this, and yeah, this whole ride probably took me about a day between research, idea, and building and everything. But and I still kind of want to do some more to it. Now that I'm looking at it here, I'm like, oh, I want to put a sign, I want to do this, that. But anyways, yeah, this is going to be the Antique Auto with a fairy tale overlay with it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and go through the general layout of it here as we follow this car going through. But yeah, with the just kind of general fairy tale layout, I wanted to kind of get that kitschy kind of look to everything. So kind of keeping that 1970s vibe going with everything. But we have the giant mushroom village, or not really village, but just kind of giant mushrooms all around going through the rainbow set here. This is an in-game sticker set or decal set. I found a whole bunch of those that I didn't realize we had in game, with a bunch of like rainbows and mushrooms and you name it. There's a whole bunch of really good sets in there. I took, this was in the next to our train up near the entrance area, just kind of recolored it. Not really sure what fairy tale it's supposed to be, but you know what? It looks like it belongs over here, so there it is. But as we continue, this is where it really opens up into some recognizable fairy tales as we go along the river. Didn't mention that, did open up the river to have this little stream kind of pour out into it. So yeah, trying to get some more little riverways or streamways to kind of go along the river as well. But anyways, as we're going this way, we get to pass by Rapunzel, letting her hair down. That's using one of the moss decal pieces colored yellow, and I was like, you know what, that kind of works for hair as you scale it down. As you come around this way, I love this view as you get all of the cable car, the chair swing, Grand One, and some more water features and everything as you go around here. But we come up to Jack and the Beanstalk. I'm not really great at making like in-game characters like people or anything with the pieces. Some people really are, but I attempted to make a version of Jack climbing the beanstalk, but didn't quite work. But again, just use these in-game, oh there we go, people passing by, the in-game decals, and I think it worked out pretty well. Really love the cloud ones as well. Really kind of sells it for, you know, it's way up there and just kind of fits that really cheesy, cheeky little vibe there. So as we come around the corner here's supposed to be a little like Cinderella castle or fairy tale castle. All these pieces are from Silverette, from one of the amazing builds that they did. So shout out to Silverette. This is up on the workshop. I think it's one of the top downloaded items you can get from the workshop, but yeah, wanted to throw that in right over there. And then also use some of the resort lights, and wanted to put a bunch of multicolored lights around to kind of give that fairy tale vibe going on and everything. While we're speaking of fairy tales and everything, let's switch over to infrastructure, like real world stuff a little bit. Again, trying to throw this in every once in a while. So we do have a pump system, kind of getting the water spout going there. And then this building on the left-hand side using the Viking pieces is actually kind of like a hidden pump building. So, you know, it's just kind of themed out, not anything in particular, but just kind of themed out to cover what would be the pumping system there for the fountain just across there. So, and then lastly, for the fairy tale segment here, we have a little gingerbread house. And same thing again for the Jack and the Beanstalk. I did want to try and get like a Hansel and Gretel kind of thing going in front of it or anything like that. But I'm not really good at doing those small little builds like that. So, but you know, I think it still sells it, right? I love the little the little gumdrops and the icing on there. Shout out to my wife when she came over and looked at this. She gave me the suggestions to put on the gumdrops and the icing, and I think that really just kind of sells it all the way. And I love this view right here. As you're coming around, you see just so much stuff happening, right? You got the pirate ship on the left side, we got our antique car coming in front of us, all the fairy tale settings, the chair lift, the gondolas. This is just like a great view right here. I wonder, this might be the thumbnail, I don't know. For kink, we'll see what happens. But yeah, then the car ride basically swings around and brings you back to the station. Tried to make a little maintenance building as well. It's not workable, it's not usable. I did the added extra tracks over here and have it where the tracks can kind of go intersecting with each other. So just kind of sells the idea that there is a storage shed or a maintenance shed. So again, you had a bunch of fun doing all of the scenery and kind of just letting loose a little bit with this build with all of the, again, kitschy, cheeky little fairy tale builds. So yeah, I think this is a great addition to the park, and yeah, hopefully this stays with the park for a long while, right? Don't want to see this get demolished anytime soon as the decades progress. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and we will fly on forward. Let's follow the gondola system forward through the park as we look at the last few additions for this episode. As we're flying forward, let's actually take a quick look back because you do get this sense of kind of the, as of right now, the capping of the park, kind of the end of the park almost, at least the boundaries of it. So we'll have to see how that kind of changes and manipulates in the later decades as the park kind of expands and everything. So, but yeah, as we come to the front of the park, you can see, as I was mentioning before, here's the where the gondola or the what is it called? Skyway. There it is. I couldn't think of the word. The Skyway begins, really. This is like the beginning part of the Mid-America Skyway. And no, it's always fun to see people actually going on. It's really weird intermittently how people choose to use this Skyway. Most of the time it is for transport to get to the back of the park. So it does work as intended, but sometimes it's a ghost town and absolutely no one uses it. So it's kind of interesting how guests choose to use the Mid-America Skyway. So, but let's go ahead and back up here kind of near there our zipper ride, because I did fill out the right side of the park just a little bit more, started to kind of cap it off, because this right side of the park was just always a little bit nothing, right? We had our administrative buildings, our working buildings right here that we see, but other than that, there was really nothing else going on, so I really wanted to address that. So on the right hand side, we have another gift shop, and also speaking of, I think this was new from the update, but you can now edit the sandbox settings, so I was able to turn on guests being hungry and thirsty. I just moved the sliders down from 1 down to I think like 0.25, so they rarely want to eat or anything, but it is kind of nice to see the guests actually interact with the buildings that are supposed to be like food buildings and drink buildings and stuff. I bring that up because this is another information and gift shop building prior to the update, because prior to the update, yeah, the guests only used buildings that had gift shops inside of them, basically. So that's why we have like our 4th gift shop in our main street area, basically. But I really like how this building turned out. Wanted to get some more of those like pastel colors going on, and these little like photo spots that don't really make sense for anything, but it's just kind of like, you know what, take a picture in front of the surfboards. So there you go. And then one of my favorite builds that I've done so far, and this I found on Pinterest. I think I mention it every single time, but if you'd like to see where I get a lot of my inspirations from, I do have a Pinterest board, and yeah, this was one of them. It's literally called the Dog House, where they serve hot dogs. And yeah, if you're familiar with this, do let me know where this is from, because I couldn't pinpoint exactly where this was from. But yeah, no, I really like how this turned out. Obviously, it's kind of shaped after a old, dog house. And yeah, no, we got our nice little hot dog stand right here, shaped like a dog house. So yeah, this was, again, I just can't harp on how much this is like one of my favorite little simple builds that we've added to this park so far. But let's go ahead and move forward. As we look at the last few things here, went ahead and added another flat ride in this section. I kind of played around with a few different flat rides in the area right before Corkscrew here, but finally landed on the Tilt-A-Whirl. I feel like it is very time appropriate. You see these all over the place for, these kind of amusement parks, especially during this time period. So yeah, no, it fits in pretty nicely too. The footprint wasn't too big. So yeah, I think that's going to go ahead and stay there for now. And then right over here, love these things right here, and we're gonna go ahead and shout out this creator as well, because they have a whole set of these basically like fun fair looking food venues and everything. So let's go ahead and shout out. Yeah, let's shout out Kinetic. This is their entire workshop, not just that creation, but that is going to be right here with that code, and the next one next to it with that code. I'm going to try and just link their entire shop. I'm not sure if you can do that down below, but they're building a park that is very similar to what I'm going for as well. So they have a lot of great creations on here if you're going for that kind of general vibe. As you can see, it's funny, I've pretty much subscribed to their entire park, because again, I just saw this and I was like, oh, vibe met, I love it. And yeah, definitely look out for them to be shouted out on the channel a lot more, because yeah, they have skee ball, balloon darts, a lot of midway games, again, a lot of these little food venues and stuff like that I've been placing down too. So yeah, big shout out to Kinetic Creations for their amazing creations. Yeah, like I was saying, it was just so cool to see their workshop and be like, oh man, this just fits in exactly with the same vibe that I'm going for with Grand America. I almost did it again with saying Great America. Yeah, I still need to get one more of their venues down. We'll probably put it right down in front of the bumper cars and just kind of have this little fast food, fried food and everything little plaza over here. So but yeah, no, good, awesome on them for uploading those awesome creations to the workshop. So let's go ahead and fly over our lumberjack show, and go look at the last little item on the list for the day, and that's going to be the Mid-American Amphitheater. And I've been working on this for actually like an episode or two. I did kind of reveal it a little bit in the last episode, but it wasn't done yet. But yeah, finally got this a final kind of resting spot for now. Got a ticket booth area set up, and whatever this entrance archway is. I don't know, I just started playing around with whatever these pieces are. I don't ever use them. It's the metal roof inverse and like the curved metal roofs and stuff like that. I don't usually use these pieces because they're usually just a little bit too big and gaudy for like what I'm going for. But for this kind of instance, it was kind of perfect for kind of an entrance area and an entrance gate. So my thought with the Mid-American Amphitheater is that this would actually be one of, if not the biggest draw for the park. Despite all the coasters and all the, you know, family entertainment and the river and all that kind of fun stuff, I truly believe that the park would have put as much effort as they could to get at least really big regional, if not national up and coming acts to really draw people into the park. So you see this a lot with real world amphitheaters, and especially like you think water parks and stuff, things that aren't necessarily the dry park that the general public or GP tend to like more than us enthusiasts, right? A lot of us enthusiasts obviously go to ride the biggest, baddest, you know, coaster, or go look at the theming and stuff. You know, a lot of the general public will go for, oh, hey, you know, my kid really likes this teeny bopper that's playing at the amphitheater today. Oh, and there happens to be a theme park too, I guess. So, like, that's a lot of the mindset that, you know, these people have. So again, I think that the amphitheater itself would be one of, if not, again, the biggest draw for the park, you know, and I think they would do a really good job at trying to book some really big acts there for the park and everything to draw in people. So but yeah, for the most part, I also did a lot of oh, I gotta wrap it up, my voice is starting to go, I can feel it. I also did a lot of improvements as far as adding a lot of shade structures, seating, a lot of bins, because now that I turned on food, there's starting to be trash around the place, which I'm halfway okay with. I kind of like that there was trash on the ground, and it added some realism bits to it at least. But yeah, so I did a lot of that kind of work, just kind of general utility work, I guess you'd say. Also started to do some lighting around the place as well. I'll actually go ahead and kill the lights real quick, especially for Grand One. I started to get this, what I think is a really cool little light sequence for it, with these bright yellow lights, especially up through the helix section. So I might have a stream, like a live stream, where we go ahead and do that, because that's one of those little tedious bits of work where it won't be an episode. It'll just kind of be like, hey, I lit up the park. So we'll have to see. Maybe I'll do a live stream with that and everything. So, but yeah, anyways, just like I was saying, there's just a lot more behind the scenes stuff kind of going on with Mid-America and everything. But yeah, no, this was a really fun episode to do. And yeah, like I was saying kind of at the beginning of the episode, we're not at the end of the first season, the 1978 season, but it's kind of feeling like we're kind of almost there, right? I think maybe another episode or two, and we'll be able to go ahead and move forward with the timeline, basically. So go ahead and sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think of all the additions today. What do you think about my voice going out right now? Oh my gosh, it's really going out. And yeah, what do you think? Like I said, some future additions would make sense before we wrap up the 1978 season there. So yeah, hey, thanks so much, everyone. Go ahead and stick around for a POV of the car ride. And yeah, appreciate you all as always. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. And yeah, until the next episode of Grand States Mid-America, have a good one.